Welcome to our iAttack webinar. For this particular course and product that we have here for this webinar, it's our product called the Mindset Performance Development Program. It's also known as the MPD program. It's a webinar. We have this set up so that people that are interested in what this coaching and guidance and programs all about, how we're developing players, we're putting this webinar together. I think, Chris, the best thing we could do right now is let's make sure our guests that are on know who we are. Let's introduce ourselves. So, Chris, why don't I start with you? Let the guests know your background, just your soccer history and about yourself. So I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, certainly. Thanks, Mike. No, obviously, Mike and I were the co-founders of iAttack Soccer, and we're excited about this mindset performance development program that we have put together. And we want to further elaborate it on, during this webinar. But first and foremost, obviously, been around the game a long time, right? Combined, we have over 50 plus years of playing, coaching, training experience. Myself individually played a very long time, played professionally for about 10 years, coached professionally for 5 of those years, my final year being with Houston Dynamo in Major League Soccer. Been an academy director, MLS academy director, worked with U.S. youth national teams, was inducted to the Colorado Soccer Hall of Fame fairly recently. So just a soccer person through and through.
Yeah, well Chris, don't forget about Clemson.
Oh yeah, I also played Clemson University as well. So
Chris is incredibly seasoned in all aspects. I mean, you coached your kids when they were young in the youth soccer, went all the way to the academy side, recruited out of Colorado, one of the best players out of Colorado, obviously inducted, like you said, into the Hall of Fame, which is incredible. And then went to be a Clemson player, which at the time was an incredible program. Still are, by the way. I like them a lot. A good team. And then, of course, like you said, I mean, you're being very humble, but it's very difficult to coach at the levels you coached at, the MLS, the USL. Then, of course, you played professionally for many years. So, I mean, you've covered everything. So it's my honor to actually be a partner with you in iAttack. So for me, I grew up in Colorado as well. That's kind of how our connection started. Came up through the youth, got recruited pretty heavily to go play out of Colorado in Division I program. Ended up playing Division I over at the University of Richmond Spider. Then went off that and played for the Colorado Foxes professionally here. Got married. Always stayed in the game coaching. And I've also had the ability to start some businesses on the side. And then, of course, you and I came back together to start this business to really try and make an impact in the game. So that's me, Mike Wright, and I'm currently coaching and training and doing all the stuff with players. Again, I've got my own kids actually going, all the way through the program, to youth and into the college ranks. So I've got 3 children that have made it into the college levels right now, 2 Division I children that I have, and then 1 play Division III. So we have seen it from the parent side. We have seen it from just the coaching side as well as playing. So let's get into the product. This is why people click through. So again, this is about mindset, performance, and development, Chris. And this is about making players better. And there's those 3 elements. Why did we put this together to begin with? Why is this program so valuable? And why should people actually step into this program and spend time working with us?
No, it's extremely valuable for several reasons. But first and foremost, we put it together because we see the importance of players that are trying to become college ready and what it takes to play in college, regardless if you're a 12, 13-year-old player now, or if you're that 16, 17-year-old that's in the thick of the recruiting process, right? There's things that you need to be doing at a particular point in time, right? And we can help convey those and lay those out. At the same time, very difficult for players that are in a team setting in the club environment. The coach is managing 18 players. Very difficult to give the personalized attention to each of those players overall, but even in this capacity, so much the effect to further develop them and potentially get them opportunities when it counts most in this college recruiting process. So I think that's the main thing for us, right, is to be able to convey, to provide instruction, guidance, various things along the way. And once again, meet that player, whether they're, I said 12, 13 years old or, 16, 17, we can deliver what you need at that particular point in time, right? That'll cater to your situation.
Yeah, right. So if I'm a parent and I'm listening to this, the number one question in my mind is, I've got my son or daughter that loves the game. They want to improve. They're on a club team, probably a pretty decent club team, but they're just not getting the focus that they need to get better. Can I go to a program like this, and can we get better online? And can we do this in a significant way in a month, or they want to work a little bit longer, they can. But the program is for 1 month, and we do a lot of things when we talk about delivering things to the player. So let's get to kind of the nuts and bolts of why they want to get involved with us and how are we going to deliver this information to the player. And by the way, when we talk about the player, I want to be really clear. This program is set up for the parent and the player to come together and create this environment that's going to deliver this improved mindset, improved performance, and then the development into the future to be college ready. So when we say, hey, we want to work with a 13 or 14-year player, the parent needs to be on that call, right? That's a minor. I just want people to understand, we don't just get on a call. We get on with the team, which is the parent, the player, and then us, and we deliver the information.
Correct.
You want to elaborate on that, Chris?
No, 100%. And like you mentioned, team, right? We're all in this process together.
Yeah.
So it's developing the player, providing the pertinent information along the way for the player, but also for the parent, to provide that understanding and how they can support along the way as well, because obviously they're a big piece of the puzzle as well.
Absolutely. Okay. So what I'm going to do for the listeners right now is I'm going to share a screen with them. Okay. And this is going to be a screen. I'm going to pull up a slide deck so you can see it as we continue to talk. This will show you exactly the things that we're going to deliver and how we're going to deliver it to you. And then I think it would be really important, we could show a live example of a player we're working with, and we can show them, like, look, we had this interactive with the player, and this interaction happened, and it happened around, their position. So all our teaching is around the player, the specific position that they're in, because that's the goal, is to make them the best player they can be in the position they're in. So let me go ahead and share the screen right now with everyone. Let me get this going. Okay, great. And then I'm going to pull up here a bit of our slideshow here, and I'm going to get us to where we need to be. Okay. So what we have here for people that are listening is we would go through this with you on your first call, just to make sure we're all on the same page. So this is an introductory type session we'd have. And again, we're going to talk about the mindset, the performance and the development, the NPD program, which is right here. And the bottom line is, our goal is to build these confident, resilient players that are performing at a very high level, and a high level due to this program. And they might come in at, let's say, a 5 out of 10. Our goal is to get 30% improvement, get them up to 7, 8% coming out of this program. And we can do this through the mindset and through the performance, and then through some of the developmental techniques that we have. So Chris, why don't you talk about the 3 elements here, and what we deliver on that?
Absolutely. So basically we look at talking about the mindset and providing the pertinent tactics and the skills and the tools and routines based upon the position you play, right? So we'll have a systematic approach when it comes to all of this, right? It's well thought out, and it pertains to each player in the position that they play. Okay. And you think about performance, right? And development, right? We're going to bring you up to speed. You're actively playing and performing at a high level, but along the way, what can we do to continue, or task you with things that will continue to enhance your development, right? So to allow you to achieve your goals or aspirations, right? And for us, right? As we continue to climb ladders and levels, so to speak, playing at the college level is important to a lot of the players and the clients that we do work with. So we think about providing all these areas to become college ready. Okay.
So an example might be, we always talk about if the mind's not right, then how's the body going to perform? So we spend a significant amount of time trying to understand if there's anxiety or some fear that might be in there, or they're dealing with pressure. What is it that's operating inside the mind? We always talk about the self-talk that's happening. So we're going to do a deep dive initially into that to make sure that we have that level set. Then you talk about performing, right? Every player we work with is currently on a team and they need to perform. So we want to understand, where are you at that level right now? What is your coach's expectations of you in that position? We're not here to make you not perform for your coach. We're saying, okay, if you understand what your coach wants, then let's make sure we see that in some of our game analysis and we're fitting in with your coach. But then there's the future development. And that's what does it look like down the road for you to go ahead and continue to make those gains that you have to make around technique, around tactics, the physicality of the game, and continuing to handle the pressure on the mind side of the levels that you mentioned, Chris. So this comprehensive program is really going to tap into these three critical elements to really start to shape and improve a player, and then point them in the direction and make them aware of all those things that are needed from them so they can get college recruited. A lot of them don't even understand the skill set they need. They don't even understand the tactical side of the game at the higher level that the coaches are looking at, because nobody's explained it to them. Nobody showed them you need this. And so we're going to spend the time with the player, and based on your position, we're going to bring this to you. We're going to deliver this to you. Anything to add to that, Chris?
Yeah, no, I think if we just progress to the next slide, we can kind of
let's do it.
Take a deeper dive into the program itself, right? And get into the meat and potatoes of what it actually looks like.
Hey, do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, we look right here, we're talking about a month-long program initially, and having these weekly interactive video calls, right? Which are highly important with the team. Like we said, the iAttack coaches, the player, the parents. And in these calls, we're certainly going to hit on the position-specific game analysis, which is massive.
So it is massive. It's really important that you have somebody work with the player. So how does that work? Well, we'll tell you. So most players, if you're going to work with us, you're going to get access to some game film. And then iAttack, we have our servers that are built on our side. We're going to give you access to your file, your part of the server, your portion of the server, and we give you access to it. You grab your film, you upload it to your section, and then we'll go ahead and we'll break down the film analysis. So we've got pretty recent games we can work with, right? You're going to give us the games that we get to analyze. And then we sit down and we break down the clips for your player, and we talk about it, and we spend time with them, what's happening before, during the play, and after. And then we get the sense of what's happening in the mind, and we certainly can show them, great decision or what could have been done differently. Just analyze what's there and provide the feedback. So 4 of those interactions are happening, and they last for an hour long. They're 1 hour. And so you sit down, and a portion of that hour is going to be dedicated to that video call. What other portion of that 30 minutes or whatever is what else is delivered to them in that hour call, Chris?
Right. So during that hour call as well, we'll provide mindset and performance worksheets, right? And basically their ability to think about pre-practice, pre-game scenarios, goals that they might have in mind, things where they can track, and it's super important for the reflective piece, right? Having intent going into trainings and games, having goals in mind, and then, were you able to achieve those goals? If so, why? If not, what were some challenges, so on and so forth. So basically these worksheets and performance logs are massive, right? For the development, for the reflective piece, for these players to continue to learn and be able to have a system of checks and balances along the way.
Good. And so as we go through this process of understanding the player, we start to see some of the skill level that the player has or lack of skills in a particular position. So why don't you talk about these targeted skill videos that we'll deliver to the player so that they can be more efficient and better in their position?
Yeah, 100%. Once again, we have the ability to provide these targeted skill videos, technical videos, right, to improve the comfort level on the ball. Let's say a player is an outside back and they're in a scenario where they're still getting comfortable having to, get into the attacking third and look to take players on. Well, maybe we provide a skill video where it's actually breaking down a move, teaching them how to get in and out of that move where they can work on it to build that confidence to actually implement these types of things. So,
yeah, critical. I mean, let's face it. If you mentioned an outside back, I mean, if you're going to be playing at the next level, you're going to be facing a press. In other words, you're going to have forwards that are going to be running at you at top speed to try and trap you, to try and have you make a mistake. You need to have certain skills to basically be able to get out of those situations, and they just need to be part of your game. And if you're not getting taught that, we're going to teach you that, because if you don't have that, how the heck are you going to climb levels and get ultimately on the top team or the next team? Or even if you want someday get college recruited, you need to have these skills. We'll deliver those. Let's talk now about these position-specific attributes in 4 pillars. Chris, why don't you break down the 4 pillars? And then what I'll do is I'll actually bring up a live example after you speak of us actually working with a player. We'll put it on the screen so they can see. This could be your child that we work with, but I won't do that yet. What is the attributes in these position specific ways that we're going to deliver these attributes? What exactly is this, and explain that further to the listener?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So basically, the critical components in the game, you can view those as pillars of the game. So 4 pillars. You have the technical side of the game, the tactical, the physical side, and then mindset, psychological, so to speak. So basically, what we will do based on the position that the player plays is provide these attributes, right? So whether it's technical skills and necessities to play this position, continue to progress and play at a high level, right? That whether it's the physical, what physical capacity or requirements are necessary. So I think, from there, when you dive into each of these pillars, you see the importance of each of them. And then basically we give you examples and necessities along the way. And like you mentioned, Mike, I think we have some examples we can show, maybe some attributes here or a real live call we had with one of our players.
Yeah, I can do that. I just want to make sure we're really clear with the listener here. Most people think the game of soccer is you receive the ball, you do something with it, and you continue to progress. But it is an extremely complex and beautiful game. And what we want to do with our program is we want to explain the tactics of the game, the physicality of the game, the mindset of the game, not just the techniques that you see with someone with the ball, but there's so much to it. The one example we're going to bring up is the tactics of the game. So this particular player, so I can set the stage, this player plays an outside back for a MLS Next club. He's working with us. He wants to become college recruited. He knows he's only got a short period of time, and we are going to provide to him, if you want to play an outside back, a number 2 or a number 3, tactically speaking, these are things you need to be good at, or at least aware of and become better at. And we ask him to rate himself on a scale of 1 to 10. So I'll pull this up, and this will be the tactical side first. So let me jump over there. Okay. So here we're gonna get into this right here. Can you see that, Chris?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. So here again, this was delivered on November 17th, 2025. So we're talking like pretty much very current information working with the player. Again, as it says on the screen, college tactical attributes. In other words, if you want to get into college, you need to have this under your belt. You need to understand these things. So it's an outside back playing a 2 or a 3. These are the tactics that you need to understand and be working, and you need to have this within your game when you play the game. Okay, so let's just jump to the next screen. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so basically here you have different criteria and categories here, anywhere 1 through 9. If you take a peek visually here, but creating width and depth, providing penetration, whether it's overlapping, underlapping, combination play, communication and organization, obviously your relationships on the field with players that are close by, whether it's if you're an outside back, if you're a right back, number 2 with your number 7, your right mid, left back with the left mid, or if you're an outside back with your center backs. You look at the concepts of the game, pressure, cover, balance, right? Marking, dealing with overlapping players, intercepting passes, your understanding of offside and how things function along those lines. So basically these attributes here, we have the ability to lay them out and then have the player, right, self-assess, right, initially out of the gate. So let's get this self-assessment, and over the course of time, over the course of the month-long program, we as coaches after the game analyzation can go back and put our assessment in and compare and contrast where, what they initially felt, what we see, and then we can also find the areas that need most improvement, things that are in place but can still get better. So this is highly valuable information. And once again, the ability for the players to take the information in, to process it, and then ultimately go and apply it.
Yeah, and I think the self-assessment of what these attributes are. First of all, a lot of players have never had anything like this in their life broken down. They've never seen something to say, gosh, in this position, I need to really be aware of all these things that are going on in my position. And I got to be good at it. Like we just had a session with this same player, and through the communication side of it, we say communication and organization. We just watched a game with this particular player, and we were watching what's going on, and we saw the breakdown, and we would sit here and say, if we go back to this list, what could you identify really needed to be worked on in that game so that you could be better on your next game? So we talked about immediate performance gains. Remember, we talked at the very beginning of this webinar, mindset, performance, and development. Well, this whole picture is what you need to develop into. But from the performance side, you can take some of this right away and you can implement it in your next game. So we're not only improving you right away, but we're also improving you down the road, because we want to get all these 7s to 10s. And where they're 8s, we want to get them to 10s. And where you're already good at 9 out of 10, can we get you a little sharper? And so through our program, we're making you better right away. So if you've got a showcase event coming up, you want to make a new team, you've got goals to get into college, some of your goals should be short-term, where we're going to get you better short-term. Some of your goals maybe to get to college. Well, you've got to take this information and improve even more over time. But the key here is you've probably never been given this information. And so we do this. Here's just an example on the tactical side for a 2 and a 3. But how many more positions are out there? You guys all know the numbers, right? 2s and 3s, 4s and 5s, 6. You got your forwards, your midfielders. You've got all this that changes and shifts based on your position. And we have that information for you, right? And we can teach you and guide you and show you through the film analysis. So anyways, this is our webinar. This is an example of what we do here. I'm going to stop sharing here, Chris, and just kind of pop back up, and then we can stop the presenting here. Okay, we're back. Okay, great. So we're back. So just to kind of wrap it up for our listeners, the importance of what we do and why we're doing it. We just have been around the game a long time, and we understand that the club, for me, my final comments are the clubs are doing a great job. I love the clubs. I think the clubs are fantastic. We've got the MLS, we've got NWSL exploding. We got, the different, clubs that are in ECNL, GA, and MLS Next. all the structure, the coaching, the competitions, the showcases. It's great, but there's just no way a coach can dive specifically this deep into a player's development and also run a team relative to the resources that he has, which is time constrained and honestly what he's probably getting paid. You just can't do it. So we saw the need for this and we put this program together. And we are we've got a lot of players doing it, but we felt the webinar needed to be put together so people that want to know a little bit more, they can dive in on the webinar, and we've shown you what we can do. So that's my final comment on it. Chris, final comments for you. Just explaining the importance again and why we did it. Just sum it up for the listener.
Yeah, no, I think you did a great job. I just, to my parting thought is, for us to have the ability to work with players that, have high aspirations, that are serious about the game, and based on our experience and areas of wisdom and insights that we can provide to help these players along the way. Bottom line, that's what we're all about. That's what we're looking to achieve. And I think, the reasoning behind this webinar, text is one thing. If you read something, let's take a deeper dive. So now we've provided a little more, pertinent information, right? A deeper dive and some real live examples of exactly what the program entails, what you're going to get. And hopefully, it'll help provide, and you'll see much more value along the way as opposed to just reading text or bullet points.
And just for clarity purposes for our audience, we're not opening this up to like 200 players.
No,
we can't, because you're going to get us as the coaches. We are the coaches. You're not getting, so, this isn't like, hey, you see Mike and Chris up here, and then all of a sudden, you sign up and there's like somebody you don't recognize. You're going to get us.
Exactly.
And, we are only going to go, like you said, serious players. We kind of work on a monthly type thing, and then some residual clients that come back. And then we're going to build a portfolio of players. And that's the whole goal, right? Is to take these players, continue to develop them and lift them up and really make their journey and their career go as high as possible. So I just wanted to clear that up. Okay. Well, great, Chris. Thank you. I think it's good for the listeners. All right. Take care, everyone.
Sounds good. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you.